Finally got your first leadership gig, loving the new role, but feeling the pressure of your new responsibilities and all that expectation to perform? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Crossing the chasm from a technical role to leadership, from doing stuff to managing and leading people, is the toughest challenge any leader must make. Welcome to the Human Edge Show, the podcast dedicated to help you do just that, successfully cross the doing to leading chasm. Campbell Such here, Chief Chasm Crossing Guide. I've made all the mistakes so you don't have to. I want to help you learn those lessons much more easily by sharing my experiences and talking with brilliant people who have already figured it out. You'll get great actionable tips, strategies, and techniques to make the transition so much easier and faster for you. Now let's get to it. Hi, I'm Campbell Such, and I'm super excited to welcome you to episode 1 of the Human Edge Show, the show dedicated to helping technical experts become wonderful, successful leaders. Now, the most challenging transformation in anyone's career in leadership and management is going from doing to managing, from doing stuff to managing people, and even more so for high-performing technical professionals who have spent their entire working life up until then being the best they can technically. It's where many fail, they regret the move and ultimately leave, distressed, demoralized, and distraught, desperately wishing there was a way back to their old technical role, leaving behind them a leaderless team who often feel frustrated and demotivated. Now, no one says growing as a leader and a manager is easy. It's not. It takes constant learning, stretching, and evolving if you want to minimize or eliminate the possibility of failure. But getting on to that first rung as a manager and a leader is the biggest step, by far the biggest step a leader ever has to take. I call it crossing the doing to managing chasm. Why? Because when you're standing at or near the peak in your technical career, and the leadership and management peak is the next one for you to tackle, in between there's this really big chasm that virtually every leader must cross. So why is it so difficult to cross the chasm? Because the things that made people successful in their technical roles are not the things that will make them successful as a leader. If you think about it, they now have to lead their peers instead of drinking with them. They now have to learn to delegate instead of thinking, gee, if I want it done properly, I'm going to have to do it myself. They now have to manage the priorities of their team instead of the priorities on their task list. And they now have to cope as a struggling newbie leader instead of a confident technical expert. So often, as a new leader, they'll feel overwhelmed and like a deer in the headlights. I know how they feel. I've been there many times myself. My corporate IT career spanned 30 plus years working for small, medium, and large organizations in New Zealand and internationally. I wrapped up my corporate career with 10 years as general manager, information technology for Bidfood, a $1 billion business and top 50 company in New Zealand. I now bring new IT leaders into the fold by helping them bridge the chasm from doing to leading. I've had great managers and awful ones. I've seen the difference a great manager and leader can make, and I've seen the carnage and derailed careers of technical experts trying and failing to make that transition to successful leaders. I've seen and experienced the massive impact of failed direct reports, and I've felt like a deer in the headlights so many times in my 30 plus year career. Wondering, could I do it? Am I really up to this? Will I be found out? And feeling like I couldn't talk to anyone about it because I couldn't be seen to be struggling or weak. Now, there's a whole bunch of skills we often need to develop that are often invisible to us as technical experts. We need assistance and education and guidance to help us pull back the curtain and shine a light on those hidden skills, so we can minimize our chances of failure as we move into and grow in our roles as leaders and managers. To succeed, we have to learn and evolve to achieve. And not just learn, we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. If our jobs are a little like clothes, then when we move into leadership, we have to wear our technical attire a little less and start to build a whole new leadership wardrobe, Oh, and by the way, the technical clothes, yep, they feel familiar and comfortable to wear and so much easier to grab when we're feeling awkward trying to deal with a challenging and unfamiliar situation with our new team. But those new leadership shoes we're trying out, well, they'll feel uncomfortable to start with until we get used to them and realize that they're really the right thing to be wearing to help us succeed as a leader. And guess what? It feels more comfortable and familiar every time we put them on. My passion and purpose now is to help new leaders and managers make the toughest transition in their careers, the transition from doing stuff to managing people. The early stage steps we take as a new manager and leader are a bit like crossing a minefield. How can we get across safely and avoid the landmines? The aim of this podcast is to give you a metal detector to help you identify and defuse those landmines, to give you some ideas and tools to guide you through this tumultuous and challenging time as a new leader, and to help more quickly and easily level up your capability and your confidence, so you can get moving quickly and positively, more like a poised leopard than a nervous meerkat. I'll be interviewing leaders of leaders who have the wisdom and insight to help unlock the door of success for both new leaders and leaders in new roles, along with interviewing new leaders and managers who are going through the transition or have successfully made the transition across that chasm from doing to leading. The aim is to give you actionable insights in each episode you can take and apply right away. Actionable insights to help you successfully make that giant transition on your exciting journey as a leader and a manager, and to learn and evolve and achieve in these demanding times of uncertainty and relentless change. Looking forward to having you come along with us on this podcast journey. Thanks for listening. If you have a friend or a colleague who would benefit from this episode, please pass the word along. If you have a friend or a colleague who would not benefit, but you haven't been in touch with them for a while, give them a call. iTunes reviews are great to get the word out and to help me create the show that's most useful for you. And if you're frustrated or having challenges or would like some help, guidance, assistance with your first leadership role, then check out integrationcatalyst.com in the link in the podcast notes below. Or pass this on to your boss to nudge them to get you the help you really need to cross the doing to managing chasm and get you powered up on your leadership and management journey. Oh, and if you want to make sure you don't miss an episode, hit subscribe. Until next time.